Alright, we're going to go ahead and start off with our 2 cups of water that I will be filling up with reverse osmosis. The reason I am using reverse osmosis water is because it does deionize water compared to just using regular tap water. For mine specifically, I actually have a water softener and I do not want any other salt involved in this experiment. So this will be round number 1 we're going to fill up. Should suffice right about there. And then I'll be filling up another one with reverse osmosis as well. I'm at 23 parts per million of total dissolved solids, which means maybe I should be changing my RO filter soon because I should be at about 8 ppms or less. For those that say that RO water is not good for you because it is so pure, I'll respond like, there's so many pollutants in our water nowadays, I want it as pure as it gets, and I would suggest getting your calcium and magnesium elsewhere, without supplementing it with any other toxicities or contaminants. The reason I'm using sugar against salt is because sugar will attract H2O almost the same way salt does without any conductivity. Hence, water is a polar molecule, sugar is made up of molecules of polar areas, thus the polar ends of water molecules attract the oppositely charged polar areas of sugar molecules, helping them to dissolve. Now that we have our glasses full, about the same volume, we have a few different products over here. 2 eggs, 2 hard-boiled eggs, 2 pieces of cantaloupe, 2 pieces of carrot, 2 pieces of melon, and 2 pieces of pineapple. We're going to go ahead and mix both of these cups with 2 different spoons, making sure compositions do not mix, and see the results. The reason I'm using sand-like salt compared to rock salt is because when water molecules surround a larger chemical molecular structure, they slowly strip ions from the surface, and those ions have to come off into solution before the water molecules, 2 times hydrogen, 1 time oxygen, can contract ions deeper inside the molecular structure itself. Now, the reason I'm using iodized salt instead of salt that does not supply iodide is because iodized salt water will conduct a higher electromagnetic frequency. I realized this after doing this observation repeatable times with my own test, hence observable, repeatable, testable. The one on the right is floating, the one on the left sank. Still even volumes. Next, we're going to go ahead and do this again. I think that sounds like a wake-up call. The 2 hard-boiled eggs. Next, let's go ahead, repeat the process. Get it? Repeatable. Let's try the cantaloupe. Yet again, 1 floats and 1 is sinking. So what we just proved is that it is not just the molecule density and the medium that the object is surrounding. That is a part of it, yes. This certainly has nothing to do with mass attracting mass, which was hypothesized in 1797, according to Wiki. the Cavendish experiment, which was ironically reported to the Royal Society. That was measured through a telescope, meaning he was a far distance from the enclosed room where the experiment even happened. This is a simple test anyone can do from home while being in the same room while it happens. Let that sink in, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And just to do it again. Now both of these are sinking. Interesting. We got a little bit of a lift. Not falling right to the bottom quite yet. This one falls straight to the bottom. Which I have another great hypothesis for. So obviously I did this experiment multiple times with different objects that have different compositions, different shapes, different sizes, different texture, different colors even. But what makes certain objects float in the ionized salt water, and what makes things float and or sink in the sugar water? Shall we? So what we just proved here is that gravity does not exist, and the pineapple is denser than the water, and the iodized salt water did not give off enough electroconductivity for the pineapple to float. This video is brought to you by Density Clothing Company, but we always want to revert back to the truth, the way, the truth, and the life, Jesus Christ. The earth is the grounding, and the firmament is the positive of the realm that we live in. And Jesus Christ is our source of energy, knowing we are made in his likeness and image. Amen.